move on PRZ, right? That triggered the sympathy for um SPRC. That was one, right? And also triggered the sympathy for Nido, right? You guys can potentially see the reason why I was focused on Nido was because of the 5-minute 200 EMA. Now both are Israeli tickers. All three of them are Israeli tickers, but what sets them apart is that Nido, right, has the 200 EMA structure, which is very similar to PLRZ, right, which has a 200 EMA structure. Okay, that's the reason why I took PRRZ to open, because we bounced off this 200 EMA over here, right? We had very nice curling action over here as well, right? And we got a nice pop to 148. Unfortunately, we couldn't clear that 150 psychological level, but it's fine, right? It is what it is. Okay, and then obviously once it lost the structure over here, I had to close it off to stay myself green, but this is still a very nice move for us, right? From 1.1s to 1.4s, 1.5, so around 30%. Okay, so this is still a very good move for us. Now, the reason why I did not like SPRC then, right, even though they're all Israeli tickers, is just generally because there is no clear structure over here as compared to Nido and um PRRZ, right? Is there any clear structure over here? There isn't. If you were to look at Nido, can you guys see how nice there's like how nice this trend is, right? Look at this red line of support. Can you guys see how nice this trend is? Very nice, right? If we were to compare this to PRZ, this is also a little bit similar, isn't it? This is also a little bit similar, right? Very nice, very clean, very straightforward. But that's not what SPRC had. Very messy, right? The setup was very messy. It wasn't clear cut, which is why I didn't want to focus on this. Again, I could have been wrong. I can see this thing did actually still make a move from 35 to 49 cents, which is pretty decent. I told you guys, right? This one might move. Okay, but in the grand scheme of things, Nido made the bigger move, right? Because the structure was better. And that was what I was looking for. Right? That was essentially what I was looking for. Okay, so there's that. Now, obviously, when we have the tickers going into when we have the Israeli tickers going to open, right? It's very difficult. These three are something you have to keep on watch. But we also have to keep on watch, like I told you guys, two tickers enough in the morning, right? GPIS, because of this move over here from $1 to $4. We have to keep our eye on this. There's no way we shouldn't, right? And another one was what? AIFF, right? We also have to keep our eyes on this. Because if the Israeli tickers break down, we have to, there will be something else for us to trade. Right? It's not like, oh, the Israeli tickers break down. Ah, man, there's no opportunity for me to make money today. No, right? Something else will have to go. So if we were to look at, right, the Israeli tickers into open, okay, PRRZ had this nice pop into open, but as it is, volume wasn't really all that there. It didn't really do much of anything. It went down, right? So structure broke down. Okay, the next thing was SPRC. Was a little bit choppy. Okay, it was a little bit choppy. Get some nice moves, right? But was a little bit choppy. Okay, but hey, did its job, right? And then Nido, obviously, because it has already made such a nice move up into before market open, it needed to cool down a little bit, right? Which is where SPRC came in to do what it never did as an Israel stock. Right, so when it comes down to this, it means that there is a lot of uncertainty, a lot of volume mutation into these tickers. Why? Because if SPRC starts to break down, doesn't mean that N needle can go back up. Possibly, right? So that's why I try to avoid. Okay, I try to avoid touching these tickers into open after. I wanted to try playing something else that was new. And I told you guys before, right? I always want to be playing something that's new. Right? As much as possible, I always want to be playing something that is new. Because it's easier to push it, right? It's not as heavy, there's not going to be any more back holders and stuff. So that's why GPIS is what I was looking at, right? Because of this amazing move that it did. Plus, it was one thing you guys don't understand is that this ticker over here, Hyperscale GPIS, all right, they announced preliminary $25 million in revenue for Q1 2025, which is pretty decent. If you guys were to look at this company's market cap, okay, for Jeepus, okay. This is now it was 12 million, it's 12 million right now, but in the morning when I checked it, it was only 2 million. Right? So for this to have a $25 million preliminary revenue of preliminary revenue of $25 million on a 2 million market cap ticker, that's a lot. Right? Tells a lot. But the thing that's special about this is they provided guidance, right? So basically they're telling us, or they're telling public, hey, for the year of 2025, we're going to be providing a full year guidance of 250 to 125 million dollars. So that means that financial year 2025, which is the end of the quarter four, right? Which again the combination of all four quarters, it's going to be a total of 115 to 125 million, which is a lot for a company that has such a small market cap, right? But again, look, for me, it doesn't mean that this company is suddenly going to be like a good ticker to invest in or put your money inside and whatnot. To me, all right, these tickers are all garbage. Okay, right? Look, these tickers are all garbage, right? I don't trust, right? To me, these are all just tap and go, right? I don't care how good of the earnings results is. This move over here that it made is because of volume. It's not because the news may be a catalyst, but volume, caused this to happen. Right? If let's say this thing had great news, but if there's no volume, I can guarantee you it's not going to make a move to $9 today. Impossible. Right? So doesn't matter for me. Okay, but with all that consideration going in, that's the reason why, right? That's the reason why I tried Jeepus. Okay, now at the point of time, it was very choppy, right? Jeepus was, nicely pulling back into the 200 EMA, right? And in the morning, we were basing on this very strong level, this 308 level, which is, this chart is very extended, okay? Right, it was basing on this 308 level, which is my price action separation on the daily chart. Right, if you guys were to look at this over here, if I were to remove my EMAs, okay, all right, you can see that there is a price action separation on this 308 level, right? So, whenever price is above this line over here, it just trades above this line, right? And then once it's below it, it trades below it, okay? So it's separated by this 308 level. And the fact that it was basing on that on open, okay, I mean, this is not surprising, guys. This ticker has been running for so long, right? This is not surprising. Again, these are all garbage. And plus, Mirren is taking up the volume in pre-market after hours at the moment. So, it's killing everything else, right? But yeah, you got always move on to something. It's always going to be new opportunities. Okay, but if you look at this on open, all right, price is respecting that level. And at the same time, Israeli tickers were dying off, right? Israeli tickers were dying off. Yeah, I'm going to close out all of the HTML. Right, Israeli tickers were dying off, isn't it? One of the Israeli tickers dying off, it was, right? So we talked about this in the morning. If the Israeli tickers die down, it's either going to be Jeepus or AIFF, right? And I chose Jeepus over AIFF purely because AIFF structure didn't really look too good to me, right? In the sense that, this thing was downtrending into open. Sure, it was respecting this 200 EMA as well, but if I were to look at Jeepus, okay, right, this thing had a much cleaner hole on the structure, right? It has a much more gradual drop into a very nice downtrend breakout into open, right? AIFF wasn't very clean. And honestly, in all honesty, this thing was just downtrending all the way as well anyway, right? It was just downtrending all the way as well. So that's why I chose Jeepus. Okay. Also, plus, the as I explained just now with the revenue guidance and all that, it's pretty decent, right? So once we start to get the choppiness out of the way, okay, once you get the choppiness out of the way, I told you guys to look for the 360 breakout, okay, which we got a nice scalp for 390s. Price pulled back a little bit. I told you guys I was getting back in again because of this, high lows hold over here. Very nice bullish engulfing candle, weakling the 360 level right here. I mean, this was very strong, right? So I took my entry at 350s over here, but it was way too quick to fill. I had add more at 360 and 370s. That's the reason why I told you guys that, you know what? Nah, I'm not going to be taking profit at 370s because I'm ending at fucking 370s, right? So I want us to see a squeeze move over here, a potential squeeze move over here. Why? Because if you look at this ticker on this, right? Let's see. Yeah, there we go. If we look at this structure over here, right, it tried to break out multiple times, but you know there's just too much selling pressure, right? Even over here as well. But this time, right, we the bulls won. But over here, you know, the bears won a little bit, but bulls took control immediately, right? So once we clear that level, okay, we got this very nice move up, right? And this is very similar as well. If you guys remember, we traded this at pre-market as well, $4 break. Can you see how it was struggling a little bit? Right? Can you see how it was struggling a little bit, right? And then suddenly popped. So it was, you know, it was the same thing. It was. Let me see. Oh, sorry, I'm gonna be distracted. Let me see Palantir earnings. I hope it crashed. Yes. Fuck you. Crash down. Okay, so anyway, for what was I talking about? Yeah, for GPIS, right? So for GPIS, okay, you can see that, right? This ticker was holding on for a bit before it squeezed up. So same thing over here. It broke through the $4 level, which is a huge level, a psychological level, right? It's a pretty huge level. $4 has always been a big level. It's been the same thing as in after hour and in pre-market when we played it. Look, was holding on to it and then boom. So this tells me that, you know, the shorts are trying to hold this down a lot. And look at how when we reach respect to the $4 level, look at what happened. Did we lose $4 over here? No. And then eventually prices continue going all the way up. And the re-entries, let's talk about the re-entries then. Now, on the way up over here, I would never give you guys any re-entries and stuff. Why? Because the structure needs a reset for me, right? Some of you guys might think that this is a good play from 619 to 780s, but for me, I look at the bigger picture, which is why I do not give you guys, right? I don't give you guys, you know, very quick, you know, bounce out from because for me, I look at the bigger picture, right? So that's why I waited till post lunch to get confirmation before I gave you guys re-entries at see what's it? 710 to 690, 6 now we stop loss on the 675. But why? So if you look at the structure for GPIS the entire day, right? The whole point, right? The whole reason for GPIS to be holding on to the structure today was because of this 200 EMA over here. This rate line, right? And if you looked at this, price touched this rate line over here and bounced up. I want you guys to look at the alert timing. This was at 2 o'clock. Okay, right? 2 o'clock was right here. Why? Because I got confirmation bounce of the 200 EMA, right? 2 o'clock was right here. Price went back down to 690s for your did ads. And my stop loss was what? Under 675. Why? Was because of the chart. So you guys can see, many of you guys keep asking me, right? How do you put your stop loss and stuff? Or how much percentage is your stop loss? My stop loss is not based on how much I put in or what my account size is or whatever the case is. My stop loss is based on what the chart is telling me. Because I have to respect the chart. If it doesn't break down, means it's going to continue going higher. Right? If it doesn't break down, means it's going to continue going higher. So once I have my stop loss values and stuff, that's where I know, right, how much I need to size in so that if it doesn't work out, I'm not gonna end up like, oh, I suddenly have a $5,000 loss. You know, right? I base my stop loss not like, oh, every single trade I take, I gotta take my stop loss is 10%. Why? Like what does that mean? Like there is no relevance to the chart at all. So you're stopping out when the chart looks good. And then when it goes up, right, you'll be like, fuck, why did I stop out? Right, let me just get back in again. And then it drops 10%, you get out again. Right? You know, you're killing yourself by having all these minor cuts. You know, in all if you add them all up, right, it all amounts to a very, very huge loss. So might as well just look at the chart, right? Have a bigger look at the bigger picture, right? Have a bigger picture to give yourself wide stop loss so you don't get caught up in the 10% fluctuations, right? And just let the chart do the work. Because when you mentally prepare yourself that okay, my stop loss is under 675, you know how much you need to size in so that if it doesn't work out, you're not gonna blow up your account, isn't it? Because you already know that if it doesn't work out, which means stops under 675, right? You know how much you are going to lose, which also means that you know how much you need to size in. Yeah, because you're not trading the chart. You see, all these volatility over here is going to kill you guys. You think if volume's coming in, let me add an 819, boom, price dropped to 775. Oh my god, let me cut it. Right, price is going up again. Let me add an 823. Right, it goes to 840. It's not enough for you. It drops. Oh my god, I'm afraid it breaks down now. Let me cut it. You're killing yourself with all these micro movements. Instead, for me, what did I do? I took my trade in the morning, right? Flat trade over here, got back in again, take my profits up, relax for 2-3 hours, came back in, take another trade, done. All this over here, right? All noise to me. It's all bullshit, right? And if you guys were trading all this over here, and maybe if you guys again ended up great with it, why? You know, let it settle down, right? Get yourself a bigger picture. The more price action you have, the more candlesticks you have, the better decision you're going to make, and that is just how it is. Okay, I only traded this like what 3 times today. The first one was the flat trade on open. Second one was the re-entries over here, and the third one was the re-entries over here. That's it. I didn't touch it anymore. I only traded this 3 times today because I didn't care about trying to scalp all these moves. These are all very arbitrary action for me. There is no setup, right? It's very random drop, very random pops, right? There is no structure. There's no setup. If you tell me to repeat, if let's say I took a trade over here from 637 and popped to 824s, right? It's very, very good. But if you ask me, can I repeat that on another ticker? I will tell you I don't know how to because this is a very random trade over here. There is no system, there is no logic behind as to why I took this trade over here, at least based on my strategy, right? Which is why I don't mess around with the midday stuff because again, it's not part of my trading playbook, right? And I want to stay very disciplined on it. Okay. All right, guys. Okay, so any questions, guys? Any questions? I had like around 3,000 shares for KWE for the overnight. IVF. Just nothing to comment on. Oh, you mean the one I took the straight earlier just now? Oh no, this is a very simple reversal move up, right? Reclaim of view up here, nice bounce. That's it. Uh VWAP was a very crucial factor for this over here. To see that, right? Support, 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 broke down, and then all the way couldn't even break through it, right? Over here as well. And then reclaim it based on it. I took it and then have this like because that was uptrend as well. I just have my stops underneath that. But as we go up, I raise my stops up. That's it. Very clean over here. But this one wasn't really an A plus start for me because there's no news on this, right? And it was a very standalone ticker. Okay, but the potential to push is there. What's the size of my small account? 20 something thousand. It's like 50, 60,000 right now. Till like 3, 4 months ago. Yes, it's different. How do I decide what percentage you trim by? It's different. Okay, for the most part, I always trim at least 50% first, unless I'm super confident on the trade setup. Now, this is not my initial trade, right? And if I were to take re-entries and stuff, I may be more more greedy. Because I'm already green on the trade, right? I'm just looking to amplify my profits. And since I'm going in again, right? I may just like take like 50%. And then for the rest, I want to see that EOD move, right? So because I'm really busted. For me, if that secondary trade doesn't work out, it's fine. Right. I'm already green. I'm okay with it. But you have to take some risk when it comes down to it. Right. If you're not willing to take that risk, then if you're taking, profits every time it goes up, right? By the time the big move actually happens, you're not going to be able to enjoy as much if you have, since you don't have a lot of shares. Now, very important for you to not do that when this is your first time taking the trade. But if it's your second entry and stuff, I think you can be a little bit more greedy. So long as you know not to give back your profits or not to give back all your profits. No, because you see, for me, I do not care about how much I spend on a trade, right? I care about how much I risk on the trade. Because my stop loss for me is under $6, right? So I was willing to take a let's see, $2,700 loss for the trade. That's why I was okay to size in 30% of my account. So does it mean if I size in 30% of my account means I'm gonna lose 30% of my account? No. I was willing to lose 2,700 on that trade. So that's why I was able to size in 3,000 shares. That's it. There's nothing about IBO. I did not trade IBO today, right? I did not trade IBO today. There's nothing about it. Yeah, I'm holding nothing. Every single day, I'll look for new stuff to trade. I'm not really holding anything like fresh right now. Probably just gonna wait till tomorrow and then we'll see what's up. That was good. Yeah, no. When I first started, I was only risking 1% of my account, right? But right now, I risk 3 to 10% of my account on each trade. A little bit riskier, but the gains is bigger. But when I first started, I was doing 1 to 3% for like a couple of years. Yeah, my risk tolerance is different, obviously, because I have had like a lot of experience and stuff, which also mentally trained me to have that fortitude and stuff like that, right? But I wouldn't recommend you guys do that because you're gonna spiral out of control and just end up taking a lot of huge paper cuts and taking a lot of meaningless loss. Okay, I'm still recording first.